Hi guys, just a little reminder, my name is Alyssa and I'm a senior here at Siena and I study marketing, and this is my final presentation for self-care. So just to start off with a detailed assessment of my self-care practices, I would just like to start by saying I really enjoyed taking this class. It was something I've never really experienced at Siena, and it being an online class, I really enjoyed taking it. I was better able to focus on myself, and I learned how to make my life better and focus on what I can do for myself to improve my mental, physical, social, and spiritual well being. So, at first, I would say that my self care activities were things that I usually do, but I never really counted them as being self care. One of them was I was taking my dogs for a walk with my sister. This is something I usually always do, I just never really thought of how it could be something counted as a self care activity. Another thing I did was watching my favorite movie with my friends and doing a face mask. These are all things that I kind of usually already did. So I would say that throughout the beginning of the course compared to the end of the course, I improved and really went outside of my comfort zone to do self care activities that were usually not what I would do. By the end, I visited an art exhibit here at Siena College just to kind of familiarize myself with the art that was on campus and kind of expand my creativity ability. And this is something I usually wouldn't have done or wouldn't have found interest in, but I wanted to explore different parts of myself. So I would say by the end of the semester, I was trying new things and exploring different parts of myself. I would say that this class really did help me improve on myself as well, just because now I'm doing self care activities on my own. I'm actually making time throughout my weekend schedule to take time for myself. I've been going to the gym a lot more, which is something I haven't been doing a lot in the past. And I even started doing yoga. I actually did it twice with my friends the past 2 weeks. We just went to the gym and spent some time doing some yoga. And before reading the articles and the book, A to Z book, this is something that I wouldn't have thought of doing. So I'm really excited that I've been able to adopt new self-care practices throughout the course of the semester. Also, throughout the course of the semester, I learned a lot about the risks associated with job burnout and compassion fatigue and workplace stress in general. I actually was not familiar with job burnout and compassion fatigue at all before taking this class, and after reading the amount of articles we did on those, it's something that I'll definitely take into consideration as I'm a senior looking to enter the workforce within the next couple of months. So one thing that really stood out to me was job burnout, because I've heard of being tired of work and stressed but not really burnt out. And the risks associated with that stood out to me were being fatigued, getting sick a lot more, getting angry easily, having headaches, and being really instability, having a lot of emotional instability. And this is just something that I was really shocked about. And they're mostly caused by working really long hours, not having a good sense of teamwork to help you out at work, having too many time pressures, and having too much work to do at one time. So this is something I'll definitely consider in my future, as I'm going to be given a lot of tasks, and I'm going to need to learn how to delegate what is most important to not feel like I'm getting burnt out. And that was from a source, Compassion Fatigue as a Threat to Ethical Practice, Identification, Personal and Workplace Prevention, and Management Strategy. Also, from that same exact source, I found that compassion fatigue was something I didn't really know about, and it's really concerned mostly with nurses and doctors, and it's the cost of caring for others and feeling the emotional pain for them because of what situation they are in. And it's usually associated with mental and physical exhaustion, and you really feel like you're really reduced frustration, you feel like you have a loss of hope, and you really want to help the people who are in need, but sometimes you just can't. Ways to treat this, and this is something to take into consideration for myself too, is to spend time with others, to get enough rest, to exercise, to do things throughout the day that will make you feel more energized, and to pay attention to leisure activities and really take time for yourself. And like I said, that was from the same source by Latchman. And just generally about stress, it does affect the psychological behavior of well-being of people. This can affect, if you have too much workload stress, your job satisfaction, your happiness, your mental health, Also for psychological needs, it can affect your general health, your sleep, your body pains, and behavioral. Having too much stress can cause you to drink more and smoke and do things that you usually wouldn't do because you're feeling very stressed out. And this was from the source examining the impact of job burnout on the health and well-being of human service workers by Lozano. So those are just things that really stood out to me because of the class. I wasn't really too concerned about the stress I could face when I entered the workforce, but now, after learning the effects, what causes it, it's definitely something that opened my mind and what I can be more concerned about for my future. So my journey throughout the course and how I really have developed spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, and physically, I've really grown since the beginning of the course and felt like I'm more in tune and in touch with my well-being of those different aspects. A way that I have grown for my socially is my self-care activities have allowed me to spend more time with my friends and learn to appreciate the relationships that I have and the friendships I have with people. So I usually do spend time with my friends, but now I feel like I have grown in this socially aspect because I am more appreciative. So I feel like that makes me want to spend more time with my friends. And I've actually been reaching out to old friends, asking how they are, and seeing what they've been up to just because I feel like it is very important to keep your social life intact because those are the people at the end of the day who can really help you succeed. Physically, I feel like I really have grown. I am on the dance team at Siena, so I do get a good amount of exercise from that, but I can't say that I go out of my way besides that to get my own exercise. So after reading the A to Z book and how it's really important to be aware of what you put in your body, this contributes to your physical well-being, and I feel like this is something I've been paying attention to. On my own, I've even started writing down what I eat every day because sometimes I'll get lost in the day and I'll just start eating very unhealthy. So this helps me keep on track. Okay, I need to eat more vegetables. I need to be aware of how many carbs I'm eating today. So that log has really helped me. And other than that, I have been going to the gym a lot more. One of my self-care activities was, as I mentioned, taking a walk with my dogs. But when I'm at school, I don't have my dogs, so I've been doing walks by myself, and listening to music while doing that really helps me. So I have grown in that aspect because now I'm doing my own physical exercise without the help of the dance team. Mentally, I have grown because I feel like I'm better able to tune into my emotions. I would pick self-care activities that I feel like I needed to work on. Say if I felt like I needed to be more in tune with my emotions, I'd pick a self-care activity that would allow me to do that. Say if I felt like I needed to relax more, I would tune into my mental state and think of a self-care activity that would allow me to do that. Whether I felt like I needed to relax or exercise, my mental state has grown because I was able to think about it and apply that to my everyday life. Emotionally, I have grown in this dimension because I have learned how to better express my emotions to others. Sometimes I feel like I keep things to myself and I feel almost annoying expressing how I feel to others, or I feel like it's going to negatively affect them and I like to keep things bottled up. So I feel like after doing so many self-care activities and doing the readings from this class, I have grown because I'm able to express emotions to other people because I feel like it increases my emotional well-being and it makes me feel better about myself. So this is something I've definitely improved on. And spiritually, I feel like I have grown throughout this course because I feel like I have been able to learn about what in my life brings me purpose and what I value the most. And I feel like that contributes to my spiritual well-being. Spending time with my family, including the self-care activity I did with my sister, my dogs, and just being with my family has allowed me to appreciate the values I have and how much they mean to me and bring purpose to my life. Same goes with my friends and spending the amount of time I did with them. It just allows me to feel like my values have been strengthened because I've spiritually have been able to connect to them a lot stronger. Now moving on to my peer interactions. This online class I felt was very beneficial. I almost felt like there was more interaction with the students with this online class versus a class that I would take at Siena that's a lecture. because I felt like we were forced to interact with each other, which is a really good thing. In lectures, sometimes you just have the professor talking and you don't get to talk to students as much. So I do believe that the peer reviews were really good because it allowed us to get to know each other and benefit from what we were doing, get ideas for what we were doing. I realized how important it was to have daily interactions with other people. It's kind of nice to hear what they have to say about what you're doing. It's also nice to see how people got excited about what we were doing in class, and it created a positive energy and really boosted everyone's morale, I believe. Also, from my peer posts, I have learned that I've learned more about self-care and stress-related risks. So I was able to see what people would get from the readings and then how they would apply that to their future and how they would apply that to their everyday lives and their careers. And I thought it was interesting to have that interaction with my peers and see what they got out of the readings and how they were going to apply that to their future and their career and what they were planning to do with the knowledge that they got. And these activities also influenced my thoughts about self-care because I was able to get ideas about what to do and things I could work on for myself based on what other people were doing. Next, moving on to my commitment to myself. I definitely want to stick with doing the self-care activities, and like I said, this class has really opened my eyes and brightened my views about how important self-care is. As I'm graduating in May, my self-care will be really important because I will be facing the stress and fatigue and job burnout, so it's something I really want to continue. Specifically, one thing I really want to continue working on is to use my planner. That's something I'm very, very committed to and I will continue to, especially at a job. I'm going to be given a lot of tasks, so this will help me complete deadlines on time and not get work overload or felt like I'm having stress at work because I will be able to cross out my tasks when they're done, and that to me brings a sense of relief, and I'll be able to delegate tasks and plan what needs to get done first and last. Another commitment to myself, I really want to commit to working on my physical well-being. As I'm going to be graduating, won't be on dance team anymore, so I won't be getting that weekly physical activity. Also, I'll be working long days and have a lot of work, and I already know that's going to make me very unmotivated and tired, so I want to make a commitment to myself right now that I'll be going to the gym 3 times a week, whether it be in the morning or the night, and I want to be aware of what I put in my body, and I want to continue doing a food log, and this will help me eliminate workplace stress. Whatever stress I'm feeling at work, I feel like I can tune this into my physical workouts and relieve stress in a healthy way. So this is something I want to commit myself to doing in the future. Also, very broad, but I would like to commit myself to spend time for myself. As the A to Z book taught me, it's okay to say no to plans. And sometimes I have a hard time doing that just because I love to be involved with my friends and what's going on. But as I'm going to be entering the workforce, I feel like I'm going to be even more tired than school, and I'm going to be even more stressed. So I want to take time for myself to be able to say no to plans, and I would like to be able to take time for myself to relax and do whatever I need, whether it be to spend time with friends, watch a movie, just take time to not think about work, not focus on work, not answer work calls or emails, and I'll be committed to taking time for myself to have some self-care. So now I'm going to present my self-care plan. The care areas I focused on were physical, psychological, social, and professional. And all my goals are SMART and have measures. So for physical, I would like to go to the gym at least 3 times a week, which I already mentioned. I would like to get at least 7 hours of sleep a night. I feel like sleep is very important for my stability, especially when working. I would like to eat healthy lunches every day on the weekdays. I mean, I would like to give myself some exceptions on the weekends, but for the most part, healthy lunches on the weekdays. And also something that I would like to purchase is a Fitbit to measure my steps. I've talked to so many people who have Fitbits, and they say that it allows them to track their steps and it even encourages them to take more steps. So that's something that I want to do within the next year. To do this measurements, I will need a sleep log, sleep app, a food log or a food app, and my Fitbit to track my steps. My psychological care, I would like to download and listen to new music once a week. I would like to go for a walk outside at least 2 times a week when the weather permits. And I would like to read an uplifting self-care book at least one time or 2 times a month. I've gone to the bookstore and they have a lot of books like how to better yourself, how to take better care of yourself, almost like the A to Z book that we read for class. So this is something I would like to do. To measure this, I would need to have a music app, a calendar to plan when I would like to walk, and even an Amazon Prime book or maybe a subscription to some type of book place to buy the books and get access to the books that I want to read. Next, going to my social care, I would like to reach out to my friends weekly if I'm not around them as much when I'm working. Like I said, weekly to catch up and ask how they're doing. Also, depending on if I live close to home or far away from home, I like to visit my parents once every 3 weeks just because they are a very important part of my life and I would like to keep our relationship very strong. And also, I would like to do a leisure activity with a friend or maybe even a coworker 1 time a week, whether that be watching a movie, going to the movies, going out to dinner, seeing a play, something like that, just to keep myself away from work and boost my morale with my friends. So my measurements for this would be self-monitoring and approval from my parents and friends to visit and to make plans with them. And then moving on to my professional care, as my academic care is no longer going to be happening once I graduate in May. Professional care, I would like to have, like I mentioned, a leisure activity with a coworker once a week. I plan to also use my planner to plan my work and my tasks every day. I'd like to meet with my manager 3 to 4 times a week. I hope that this is more accessible for me, depending on how the work and atmosphere is that I'm in, but this is something I would like to do. I'd also like to spend full time for my lunch breaks. I know sometimes you can get caught up with work and skip a lunch, but I would like to actually make sure every day that I'm working, I take my full time for lunch, unless I'm not allowed to. I would also like to enhance my professional career any way possible, and this is pretty vague, but in the future, whether this means to take more classes to make myself more knowledgeable about my marketing career, watch daily videos or TED Talks to help my knowledge increase, or get any certifications that could help me achieve higher positions. And also another goal and self-care plan of mine was to obtain my master's degree within the next 5 years. I don't plan on doing it as soon as I graduate. I plan on getting a job in hopes that they will even pay for my master's. If this is not the case, I plan to get it on my own because I would like to move up to a managerial position sometime in my life, and I feel like this is necessary. So with this being said, the measures for this professional care would be a planner, a calendar, a timer, my colleagues, and a manager would need to be in place. So that is it for my self-care presentation. I hope you guys enjoyed. It's been a great semester being able to interact with everyone and get to know more about myself and learn how self-care is so important for my life. Thank you.